Recent polling from the New York Times and Siena College has showed that the Democrats' gamble of focusing on abortion as a main campaign issue ahead of the midterms may not necessarily be paying off. In fact, Republicans were leading among independent women in particular by 18 percentage points. I think that really shows how the Republican strategy of focusing on inflation, crime, and maybe even immigration may be resonating more with voters than the Democratic message on abortion.
One Republican candidate that I spoke to yesterday in New Hampshire, Carolyn Levitt, who's running against Representative Chris Pappas in a state that abortion is really considered a signature issue there, basically made the case that voters are not looking to gamble on sort of cultural issues, but more so on the economic issues. As gas prices continue to tick upward right now in the final weeks here of the campaign cycle, are really what Republicans are hoping will drive out turnout on their side. And so Democrats, conversely, are sort of trying to delicately balance those economic concerns of voters within their own constituencies, but also double down in many cases on the message of abortion and the strategy that they had first set out when the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade.
Nevada and New Hampshire, two states where the electorate is very much pro-choice. We are seeing that particularly in Nevada, the Republican candidate Adam Laxalt is still leading incumbent Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, despite the fact that Democrats have really leaned in on the issue of abortion. New Hampshire paints a very different picture. You have an incumbent senator who has been leading more so in the polls over her Republican challenger. In Pennsylvania, particularly in Philadelphia's collar counties, you are seeing Democratic nominee John Fetterman try to really zero in on this issue of abortion, constantly questioning Republican nominee Dr. Mehmet Oz over whether he supports Senator Lindsey Graham's nationwide proposed abortion ban. So, in those collar counties, in the suburbs, not just of Philadelphia, but, suburban Las Vegas, for example, or suburban Phoenix, any of these major Senate states, I think you are going to see a lot of these suburban women voters, a voting bloc we've talked a bit about in politics, sort of trying to make their decision based on either the economy or another issue like abortion. And it seems like the polling we see in this moment of time, less than a month out from the midterms, show that the economy may be trumping abortion when it comes to suburban women making those decisions, or even independent women also making that decision.
And that's a big shift from what we had seen just a couple of months ago. Democrats really, in the immediate aftermath of that Supreme Court decision, really put all of their organizational and messaging muscle into abortion as their closing pitch. And at the time, it was a divisive sort of strategy, although folks were more willing to sort of rally around that given the unprecedented nature of the overruling of the decision. Every midterm cycle is a referendum on the incumbent president, and so eyeballs are turning to President Biden as the overwhelming, not just president of the country, but top surrogate really of the Democratic Party. And they're looking to him for guidance of, is this the right strategy? Is this the way that we were supposed to sort of galvanize those suburban women, independent women, really a critical voting bloc. For the progressives, one of the top figureheads within the left, Senator Bernie Sanders, was cautioning just a couple of weeks ago about making this closing pitch, saying, it's an important issue, it's a top issue for the Democratic Party, but it doesn't trump, in his view, the economy in terms of what will turn out voters, and it's all about turnout every election.